Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Alpha Omega occasionally. On this occasion we're talking about being bullied in Thailand. But we're not going to just stick to Thailand because that'd be unfair, because you can get bullied anywhere. I'm going to talk about an event that is a recurring event for me in this country. And I'm not just singling out Thailand, but it is in this instance, this particular instance, it relates. I've never experienced anything like it anywhere else in the world, and I've been to a few places. But I'm not going to restrict my rant to Thailand, because there are other countries you can live in where you can get bullied, and we're talking about by the administration, let's say, and or the culture. In this case, we're talking about the culture. This case of bullying, really, I can't let it go. I can't let it go. My better judgment tells me just to let it go, let it ride, and everything will be all right. And it probably will, but it won't be all right for me. Because I'm telling you, this case of bullying relates to parking my car. I live in a complex, an apartment complex. The Thais call them condos, but it's an apartment complex. And the apartment complex where I live doesn't provide adequate car parking for the amount of apartments that are in the complex. It's grossly lacking in that department. But having said that, if I park my car, inverted commas, incorrectly, I get bullied into parking it correctly. And let me tell you how that happened. How it happened yesterday. I picked my son up from school at the usual time and came back. My son jumped out of the car. Not that I need to explain why I parked incorrectly, whatever incorrectly is, but I'm doing it for the benefit of the video, just to give you a full idea of what happened. He jumped out of the car. I had parked my car between these two yellow lines, as you can see here, 2 degrees off the perpendicular. Maybe I'm wrong about the 2 degrees, maybe it's 3 degrees, maybe it's 4 degrees, I don't know. But it's an incidental amount of, or inconsequential amount of degrees off the perpendicular. But it was off the perpendicular. He jumped out. I was more concerned with his safety, because cars come in and out of that car park, motorcycles and all the rest of it. I just jumped out, closed the door and grabbed him and brought him home, realising that I might suffer the criticism, to put it mildly. But let's go on a couple of hours. I got a photo sent to me on a social media app of my car parked, as you can see, off the perpendicular. And this photograph was sent to me by my wife, who works 7 kilometers that way. And I said to myself, well, I didn't say to myself, because I've come across this before, but let's say I said to myself, how can she have access to a camera remotely that can take a photograph of my car, and she's 7 kilometers distant? She doesn't. Security took a photo of my car and sent it to her, stating that my car was not parked correctly. And who alerted security to the fact that my car was not parked correctly? The individual that was parked beside me. I got this information this morning when I was in an argument about whether or not I should sheepishly follow the rules set by the bullies who determine which way you should park your car. So apparently it was some other resident that complained about the way I parked my car. I don't get it. I really don't get it. What's the big deal? You see, here it's all about saving face and all that baloney. You must park your car uniformly. Is that right? Uniformly? Anyway, I'm not restricting this rant. That's bullied. That's being bullied. I had to adjust the angle of where I parked my car, of how I parked my car, to satisfy the bullies. You might think I'm using too strong a term, but it's not, because How I park my car is my own business, as long as it doesn't interfere with a thoroughfare or whatever on private property. 2 degrees off the perpendicular. How can that be wrong? We see, it's not just this brought up a bigger question for me. You know, you may be being bullied in your country by the powers that be. If you're from Australia and you don't vote, unless you provide an adequate, whatever adequate explanation is, you can get fined 20 Australian dollars for not voting. It's your decision whether you vote or not. Who is anyone else to say whether you should vote? It's your decision. I mean, what in the name of God is going on? This is in a Western country where everything's supposed to be fair and even. And some bully decides that if you don't vote, they're going to fine you $20 if you can't provide an adequate explanation as to why you didn't. Voting is a privilege. It's not a necessity. You don't have to do it. If you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. It's not just Australia, by the way. I think it's practiced in Brazil and Argentina, and there's various countries around the world where they require you to vote, and if you don't vote and don't supply an adequate explanation, you can get fined. My own country, Ireland, one of the most progressive countries in the world, the most politically stable countries in the world, and I'm quite proud of the fact that Ireland is the only country in the world still today that legalised same-sex marriage by popular referendum. Again, legalised same-sex marriage by popular referendum. I don't know any other country in the world who did that. Our own Taoiseach, we call him the Taoiseach, translated as the chief, in English as Prime Minister. He's gay and he's married to a man, and his father's from India. Wonderful! But yet, because I've left the shores of the Emerald Isle, I lose my right to vote in general elections. For British people, I think they've got 15 years. For Americans, I don't know what the time limit is. But for Irish people, citizens of the Republic of Ireland, we lose our right to vote if we leave the shores. And not only lose our right to vote in general elections, we lose our right to vote in referendum. Or referenda, the proper plural. It's not referendums, it's referenda. So I tried to vote in a referendum here, and I contacted the Irish Embassy in Bangkok, and I was told I couldn't because I'm not resident of the state. I can understand not being able to vote in a general election if you're not resident, because you can vote in a way that you can have a manipulative vote, let's say, and you're not resident, so it doesn't affect you. But a referendum is a referendum to the Constitution, and regardless whether you reside in the state or not, that Constitution still affects you, but they won't allow you. The bullies won't allow you. So there you go. I started this video talking about being bullied in Thailand, but being bullied in general by culture and by, I'm going to call it the powers that be without saying anything, but we all suffer from it, and I'm suffering from it today. So much so, I park my car in a different place, and I endeavour to park my car in a different place from now on, so I don't have to listen to the bullies. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you click that like button, the share button, the subscribe button, do all those wonderful things, and I'll bring you back another wonderful video very soon. Thanks for joining me. Hello there.